have a few pocket page layouts to share with you guys. This is for the Pocket Page Roundup series that started in January. It's a monthly series that has a theme attached to every month, and everybody's working on a different project that involves their pocket pages. So you're going to see lots of different sizes and styles and all of that. And yeah, it's just kind of fun to get back into pocket pages. I really need to find my groove again when it comes to this because I skipped 2019. I did for 2018 I did the traveler's notebooks. I just picked one insert for each month and I really enjoyed that process, but I found it was really time consuming, and for the amount of pictures that I can take in a month, it didn't always work out. So I kind of wanted to go back to Project Lay for pocket pages in a 12 by 12 album, and I didn't do it in 2019. I have all the pictures printed, as you can see, and I kind of started putting pictures into the pockets, and occasionally if I had a couple of minutes, I would pull out the album and just put some cards into the pockets and things like that. But I'm working on February, so I definitely didn't get this album even close to finished, which means I also didn't get 2020 finished. I mean, 2020 was just one of those years, right? So what else can you say about that? But I would really like to try to at least get 2019 finished and maybe put a good dent into 2020. And I think this series is definitely a really good motivation to pull this album out and actually make it a priority and start working with it. So I'm working with February, and I'm going to do the entire month because I really didn't have that many photos for February of 2019. So I figured I might as well go ahead and do that. And over the years, I have definitely come to learn that I prefer a monthly spread rather than a weekly format. It makes way more sense for how I scrap and how many pictures I take. I really love the weekly format, the way it looks. One of my favorite project lifers, Mandy, she does a weekly format, and her layouts are just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's more than just the weekly format that makes her phenomenal. She just has a really good eye for design and the super cutest pictures. But it's kind of neat to see her kind of as she flips through her albums, and you can see each week. I think that that's really neat, but it just doesn't seem to work for me because I have some weeks where I might have 700 pictures and other weeks where I have 2. And so doing it from a monthly perspective just means that I can fit all of my I'm tripping over my words, fit all of my pictures in where they need to go without worrying about trying to fill up an entire page for just 1 week. Or some people will do almost like the 2-page, so the right and left side of the album as 1 week. I could never do that, I don't think. I did try it. I gave it a good attempt, but I found it really hard. So for months like February, even this February, last February, it's just pretty much a quiet month for us here. It's really, really cold usually, and not much is going on as far as dance or any of the kids' activities. It's just a little bit more quiet. So it's a smaller month. So now I can just kind of fit all my pictures into basically 2.5 pages. So the theme for the pocket page roundup for the month of February is love, and you can use that however you want. You can do what I'm doing, which is just really kind of go uber Valentine's with everything and use a Valentine's collection to scrapbook my little pockets. Or, if you want to create a page where you're just talking about something that you love, however you like to use the theme, that's totally up to you. But my kit for How to Kill a Kit with Style this month is a Valentine's themed one. So I figured I might as well go ahead and pull out the 12 by 12 papers that I have and use those instead of cards. Or I guess in some places I'm using them with the cards, but you can see here I'm just mostly creating the backgrounds of my pockets with these papers from the Hello Love collection. So for several of them, I have done what I'm doing right here, which is I had a card in the pocket and I'm just using that as a template to go ahead and cut the papers so they're the right sizes. I'm kind of lazy when it comes to pocket pages in that way. I don't tend to pull out my paper trimmer and try to cut everything perfectly. I tend to use pictures or other cards and kind of just use those as a rough template to go ahead and cut the size that I need. And it usually works out for me without too many problems. So, yeah, if that doesn't work for you, don't feel like you have to do that. If you would prefer to use your paper trimmer and just cut a whole bunch of cards out of the page, you can definitely do that too. And sometimes when I have 12 by 12 papers that I might not really like, or I think they would actually work better as Project Life cards, I'll go ahead and just cut them. So if I'm doing that, if I'm taking that 12 by 12 paper and breaking it down into 4 by 6 and 4 by 3 little cards, then I'll use my paper trimmer. It's just easier. But as you can see, going through all of these pages, I'm pretty happy just eyeballing it or cutting using another card as a template. So I don't have that perfectionist bone in me anymore when it comes to Project Life. I like this format because it gives me the opportunity to scrapbook a ton of pictures. And I like to do that quick. And I'm always looking for ways that I can actually get even faster in my scrapbooking. So if I can cut little corners that I feel comfortable with, I'm definitely going to do that. And I'm getting there. Like I said, I still have to find my groove a little bit, but one of the nice things about pocket pages is I really don't feel compelled to have to embellish every single pocket. I try to add some sort of sticker or just, at least one little element on every pocket, but I really feel like if there's some months where it's just really busy or I don't really have a lot to say about the pictures, or even if the pictures just turned out really, really nice and they can kind of do the talking for me, I'm quite happy to let that happen and just put them into their pockets and be done with it. So I think I leave 2 of the pockets for the month of February without any embellishments because they're just kind of landscape pictures, and they're things that I do fairly often. I try at least a couple times every season to take some pictures of the mountains or a picture from the view of my window in my office, that kind of thing. So I don't really need to put any details or journaling with it. It's kind of a repeating theme that you see every month. So I'm happy to just let them kind of sit the way they are and not need to embellish them. So my process, I explained it last month. It's pretty simple. As I print my photos, I tend to print in batches. So as I print my photos each month, I go ahead and take sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's only half an hour, but I just find a little bit of time, maybe while I'm watching a TV show or something like that, to sort through all of my pictures. I put to the side any ones that I know I want to make 12 by 12 layouts from, or if there's something special and I want to do maybe a mini album with them or anything like that, that. I usually have an idea of that when I'm editing them, but I kind of put those to the side, and then I take the rest of my pictures and I cut them if I need to, and then I just start putting them into pockets. So I know when I pull my album out, if I even, have 10 minutes to spare and I just want to pull out a couple of pictures and work on a couple of cards, I know that I have them ready to go. I don't have to worry about the pictures. And then I do the same thing with the cards as well. So if I'm just watching TV and I want something to do with my hands that's a little bit kind of mindless, I don't have to be paying full attention to it, I'll just pull out my little box of cards that I have and pick a color or pick something that I can kind of, have them match a little bit, maybe have a theme. So I'll go through and look for all of my spring cards or something like that, and then just start putting them into pockets where I think they might fit with the pictures. And eventually, when I get to actually doing the kind of finishing touches on the layout, I might move the cards around or go back and pick something different. In this case, for example, there are a couple of pockets that had cards, but I didn't necessarily plan at that time to use the 12 by 12 papers. So I'm using some of the cards where I think it fits and I kind of like the card. And in other places, I replaced it with the paper. So it might change at some point when I'm actually working on those specific pockets. But in the moment, it's just kind of nice to be getting little steps done so that when you do have a little bit more time and you can actually pull out your album and kind of work on an entire layout, an entire spread, or in this case, a full month, some of that work is already done for you. Or like I also said last month, you can just grab a couple of cards. You have the cards in there and you have the pictures in there. So if you are going on a road trip and your partner is going to drive instead of you, you could grab a couple of little cards and a clipboard and work on them on the clipboard. Or for me, it's always dance competitions when I have a couple of minutes to myself and my kids aren't dancing and I just want to take a little break. I have a little kind of travel kit that I've put together. And so I just bring a few cards instead of my whole album, and I can kind of grab the card with the pictures and I'm good to go. I can add my little embellishments or whatever I want to do. So I just find that kind of easy when those little steps are already taken care of. It's almost like there's one less excuse to not get it done. So, if I have all of my pictures and I have cards in all of the pockets, then my next step would just be to start embellishing them. But if I don't have all of my backgrounds or my pockets filled with some sort of card, that's usually what I do first. So I kind of know ahead of time if I'm going to be doing the left and right side of a spread, or in this case, I'm doing the left, right, and then the one on the back as well. So I knew I was doing those 3 pages. So I like to go and put any pockets that need some sort of card or background. I like to do that first and kind of take the colors and the themes and spread them out the way that I like them, and then go back and embellish afterwards. So I've gone ahead and done that with some of the papers from this Hello Love paper pad. And then you also saw in some of those pockets, they're actually the little 4x4 pockets. I took cards that were in there and they were the same card, and I kind of pieced them together to make a larger background because I didn't have any 4x4 cards. So I like to do that too, just kind of piece my backgrounds together. I liked those cards. They were kind of neutral, so I left them that way instead of cutting out any paper to use instead. And once I kind of get that all done, then I can go ahead and start embellishing. So I stuck to some pretty basic embellishments for this too. I have some stickers and and chipboard stickers. Here you can see the chipboard stickers. Those came from Dollarama. They were just in one pack for $1.25, so that works out really good. So I'm using those even on some of my cards that have nothing to do with Valentine's Day. So on this page, for example, the whole left-hand side is about the hot chocolate festival that our town puts on every year. 2019 was actually the first year that they did it. So we're now going into our third year, and we love hot chocolate, and it's kind of a sweet thing that our town does, and it's really fun. You can go around to different businesses. They all put together their own hot chocolate. Sometimes they're like super fancy, or they might have a really fun kind of theme to them. One of the businesses this year has pop rocks in their hot chocolate, so when you take a drink, it fizzes and pops on your tongue. So little things like that. And then at the end of the 10 days, you vote for the business that you thought had the best hot chocolate. So it's kind of a nice way to get everybody out. Even with all of the restrictions we have, it's still something that we can do. So it's just a really fun thing. And so, the pinks and blues and reds and stuff work really good for a color scheme for hot chocolate. It doesn't have to be any specific color scheme. And having hearts and things like that also works really good because it's just a fun event and we kind of love our town. My nephew's birthday was also in there. So of course we love him to death, and he always gets to celebrate his birthday at our place with cake. He has lots of cake requests for me, so hearts and kind of Valentine's-y things work really well with that too. So you can see I'm showing you all of my cards here. On the first page, I did a little title card. I don't always have a title card announcing that a new month is kind of starting, but it's something that I try to at least somewhere in that first page mention that the month might have changed, but it's not always a full title card. There's some of the birthday pictures. They're so cute. And then we also had hometown hockey come in 2019 to our town, so I have a couple pictures of that. Again, doesn't really go with the Valentine's thing, but we love hockey, so hearts and things. I didn't put too many hearts there, as you can see, but just added a title, and the pinks and the reds kind of work with that. So I'm pretty flexible with my pocket pages, and it's really just about having fun and getting all of your photos in there and telling your stories and getting the albums done. I always get so excited. That's really my goal, is to have my albums done. So that is it for me for this month. Please check out all the links below to everybody else who's scrapping today. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye.